I'm fixing to make a meatloaf out of my first cookbook, and this is called individual meatloaves, but it's so versatile. And I'm going to make a half a recipe, but I will put the complete recipe in the typed out thing, and you can also go to my website and find the printable version. But what I have in this half a recipe is 1 pound of ground meat. Now you can use whatever you like. If you like ground turkey, if you have alpha-gal, you can use ground turkey. You can use ground venison or elk or whatever, cow, whatever you like. So to this, I'm going to add 1 egg. I'm going to crack it over here. Make sure it's good. Yes, so I don't get any shells in it. No one wants to bite down on that, do they? Absolutely not. Okay, and I'm going to add, a good couple tablespoons of some gluten-free breadcrumbs. Now, you can use regular breadcrumbs if you don't have to eat gluten-free, or you can use oats. You can use torn-up bread. You just need some kind of little breading in there. And I'm going to add 1/4 cup of just some ketchup. And this is Whataburger ketchup, not affiliated, not sponsored. They don't even know I'm around, y'all. But anyway, it has pure cane sugar in it. So, we're trying to stay away from high fructose corn syrup this year. So, that's a good thing. And I'm just going to add just a splash or 2 of milk. That's probably a couple tablespoons. And salt and pepper to taste. There we go. That looks like plenty right there. And we're going to add some good salt. There we go. Okay, now, on the onions. You don't have to use onions, but I like to use onions in mine. And you can use white onions, purple onions, Vidalia onions, yellow onions, Walla Walla. I love saying that, but anyway, you can use whatever you want to. But today, I had 3 green onions and I needed to either use up or like in 2 days throw away. So I chopped up, these were those large, big old green onions. And I'm going to add about half of that because that looks like that might be just a little too many. So there we go. And I'm going to save the tops for a photograph. And then I'm going to add 1 clove of fresh garlic. And that is not, I didn't put that in the recipe because sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. So let's see if I've got everything. I believe I do. Let's get to mixing. Get my sleeves up. First thing you do before you start cooking, we wash our hands, don't we? So let's just get this all mixed up. And see if I need to add some more breadcrumbs. Because you kind of start out slow, and especially with things that you can't take out, which is like everything. So that looks a little too soupy for me. So I'm just going to get a few more breadcrumbs here. Now let's see how this looks. Meatloaf was something that we didn't eat growing up. Daddy didn't like things that were all mixed together. So, and plus, that was back in whenever they were just coming out with cholesterol was going to kill us all. And so, we didn't eat anything that was really greasy. But the great thing about this recipe, y'all, is I cook it up on a rack. And so if there's any grease in it, it just drains right out, lickety split. Okay, I think I'm almost there. I should have got one of those see-through bowls back here for y'all. Let's add just a little bit more. And also, whenever I was getting all my stuff ready to come back here, I thought, this would make a great appetizer for the big game that's coming up. You can make little bitty, let me show you what I was thinking. I'm not going to do it in this video, but I'll just tell you about it, and you're smart, you can do it at home. You just take a little bitty bit and roll it, and then you can cook these little meatballs however you like to cook them. You can put them in the oven and bake them till they're done. You can put them in a skillet and brown them till they're done. You can put them in your air fryer and cook them till you're done. But I think that, and then this delicious sauce, I think that would make a very, very good Super Bowl thing. You know what? I think I'm going to do that to half of this. Okay, Your Honor. We backed up and punted, didn't we? Let me show you what this looks like. The consistency of this. So I can pick it up, and it's not all drippy falling out of my hands. And before I added the extra breadcrumbs, it would have been. Okay, so I'm gonna take about half of this. And this also freezes very well, y'all. Okay, so we're gonna take half of this. Okay, so here's what I do. Because these are individual, and you know your tribe. You know their appetites. And so you just make it to suit yours. Now, I know that my husband and I know what serving sizes we would need. But you just make individual loaves. So you just put it in your hand. And I just do it like that. Make it flat on the ends because you don't want the ends to dry out. And I've got a cookie sheet over here with some tin foil so it'll be easy to wash. And then I've got a rack on it, and that'll help it cook from the bottom and not sit in the grease. So there we go. Okie dokie. So I think, okay, so we're going to eat these today, and then I'll warm up some for tomorrow. So I'm going to rob a little bit from what I was going to make for the ball game. There we go. And you can wrap this, and what I like to do a lot of times, I'll make this up and make the delicious sauce. That needs a little bit more. Okay. I'll make the delicious sauce, and then I'll put these in a vacuum sealer, and when you freeze them solid, and then you take them out and you put them in your vacuum sealer bag. And what I like to do, I'll take a Ziploc bag and put the dipping sauce in there and put it in the bag. And then whenever you defrost it, you've already got your dipping sauce right there with you. So there we go. There's our meal for today. And whoops, I like the way that one's shaped. Today and tomorrow. Now you don't have to do them in these loaves here like this, y'all. You can put them in your baking dish like a traditional meatloaf. You can put it in a larger 9x13, but have it up in the middle where you've got the edges, the grease can drain off. One thing you can also do, if you're doing it in a big loaf, you can make it kind of a well in the middle, and then when you put your sauce on, it'll stay in there. So I've got this much left, and I think I'm going to make this into those little balls, and I think I might just go get my air fryer out. I'll do that in a different video. So y'all, right now we're talking meatloaf for dinner. Absolutely, and the oven is set to 350. So I need to get these done before the man gets home for dinner. And I'll see you when these come out of the oven. I'm going to bake these probably about 40 minutes. And I've got which I can't touch right now, I've got my little meat thermometer over here. And these will be done in the middle at 165. And I'm going to take them out. We're going to make our sauce, and then I'm going to baste the sauce over them. Put them back in there and just let that glaze get good and sticky and wonderful. So that's what we're going to do. I'll see you back in. We're going to put that glaze together, and I got to go wash my hands. So see you back in a little bit. Okay, I'm going to make the sauce. I'm going to make the whole recipe of sauce because it is so good to dip it in also. So I've got a fourth cup of ketchup. And I'm just going to make this in the bowl that I'm going to store it in the icebox in. No need to get something else dirty, right? Right. Okay, a couple teaspoons of some yellow prepared mustard. What if it was unprepared? Wouldn't that be terrible? I would hate to have unprepared mustard. Okay, anyway, there we go. And we're going to use a splash of Worcestershire sauce. Just a little splash of that. And y'all remember that homemade brown sugar that we made together? I'm going to use about 3 tablespoons, and I don't even have my real tablespoon thing back here. I'm just going to use a cereal spoon and eyeball it. So let's put 3. Y'all, in that video, I don't know what was wrong with me that day. I kept saying flour whenever I meant to say sugar, and I tried to correct it whenever I was editing it. So many people said, you need to redo that recipe. And I thought, this is a home kitchen, and what I make is what we eat. And we made this much brown sugar. If I had redone the video, I would have had way too much brown sugar, and it may have gone bad on me because I wasn't going to use that much probably in a year. So I mean, I can always make more, but I didn't want to do it then. So I guess that was some behind the scenes baseball right there. So let's just get this all mixed up. Get all that brown sugar all mixed up. Now you could use barbecue sauce. And I tell you what, let's think about those little meatloaf balls that we're going to cook in a different video. And I was thinking, I don't think I'm going to use ketchup. I think I'm going to use something else. And I think it's going to be really good. Okay. All right, let's get our popsicle stick and see what we think. See if we need to adjust it. A little more brown sugar. And then I think we're good. So, alrighty. Just got about that much. And if you're not tasting your food as you go, people, friends, please do. Because you can avoid a whole lot of mishaps at the table if you taste as you go and change your seasoning to suit your taste buds. So, alright. I think that's going to be plenty right there. Okay. I'm going to go check on my meatloaves that are in the oven, and I'll see you when they come out, and we'll get us a bite. These were in the oven about 45 minutes. I checked them at 40 minutes, and they were not up to 165. So I put them back in there, and they're 165 at least. This one is 171. So I'm just going to take our delicious base that we made, and I'm just going to brush it all over, just like this. And I've still got my oven set on 350, and I'm going to put it back in there. It's going to take 7 to 10 minutes or so like that to get these all caramelized and looking all yummy scrumptious. Okay, there we go. All right, I'm going to go put these back in the oven, and we'll get back together when it's ready to eat them up yum. This just came out of the oven about 5 to 7 minutes ago, and they were in the oven about 10 to 12 minutes, and the glaze has glazed. So we're just going to get us one. We're going to get this one right here. Look at that. Because I sprayed it, it just came right off. Oh, yum. There we go. Now let's get some of this delicious dipping sauce. I like to put it to the side. Get us a few just for pretty. We'll just take a few because it looks better with a little greenery on it. I mean, anyway, we'll do that for a photograph. But here's what we're looking for. We just want to get us a bite of this. Dip it in that sauce. Try not to burn our tongue. Y'all, that is delicious. These make great meatloaf sandwiches. And what I've done before when I've had extra meatloaf, I didn't feel like freezing it. And if I was going to make chili or lasagna or spaghetti in that next week, I would crumble this up and use for the meat in those other dishes. Waste not, want not. Okay, y'all. Fix yourself a starch to go with this. Some rice, potatoes, a green bean, or whatever your favorite starch is. Some corn out of the garden, which is what I've got in there. I'm heating up out of the freezer. So I'll see y'all next time, and y'all go eat them up yum. And I'll put how to order these cookbooks if you're interested in that. You can also find this recipe ready to be printed out on my website, KimmySouthernCooking.com. See you next time, y'all. So good.